Let's go, baby. Let's go.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
They said I got to come off the bench.
Now, here's Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
All right, welcome back in. OTB 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Going to change it up a little bit. Today, you heard Tay mention it there. Chris Blair, the voice of the Tigers, is going to join us at 8:30. Going to move some things around. So now it is time for some weekend winners.
That's how winning is done.
That's right. We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've got too far.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
Are you doing what it takes to win a championship?
Wow, winning.
Well, then I guess there's only one thing left to do.
What's that? Win the whole thing.
All right, so I know this was from about 4 days ago, but being out all last week, Ryan Ramczyk has decided to officially call it quits after 7 seasons in the NFL, which included 3 All-Pro honors, I think multiple Pro Bowls, obviously, but the All-Pro stuff, that is incredibly hard to do. Pro Bowls don't mean a whole lot anymore, but certainly All-Pros do. He was an All-Pro, again, 3 times from 2018 to 2020. He really looked like he was on his way to a gold jacket. I mean, truly had the start of a Hall of Fame career. I mean, he's even still going to be like whispered a Hall of Fame member just because of the 3 All-Pros anyways, but definitely if he plays 3 more years, certainly he is in can. He is a Hall of Famer, but his body just failed him. His body could not keep up anymore. Unfortunately, that happened, so he only gets 7 seasons in, and I only say only 7 because he could have certainly played 10, 12 years at an incredibly high level. But Ryan Ramczyk, weekend winner for a hell of a career.
Yeah, I mean, one of the, when you talk about all the Mickey Loomis misses in the NFL draft, whatever, like Ryan Ramczyk might be his biggest success. I mean, when he drafted him, it was one of those picks that everyone was excited about. They thought he could be good. I don't think people realized just how good. I mean, this guy might have been the best right tackle in all of football for like a 4 or 5 year span. I mean, Ryan Ramczyk, really, really good player. I mean, I know that everyone's going to talk about, he only played 7 years. But I mean, look, when you look at like Saints Ring of Honor consideration, like this guy's, he's going to be up there for sure. Like he was that good of a player.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Maybe not enough to be a Hall of Famer because it did get cut so short. Now, look, there's been like Terrell Davis, Hall of Famer, even though his career got cut short. But, TD was kind of doing some stuff that nobody else was doing. But still, Ryan Ramczyk, regardless of where it ends up, an incredible, incredible career. All right, anybody over there? Weekend winner?
My first weekend winner, Tay, I put a video in the doc if you want to pull it up. Former LSU head coach Will Wade is now going to be coaching at NC State, as we know, right?
Yeah.
But he's already making a splash in North Carolina, so he got to sound the siren for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Devils and the Hurricanes. So the Carolina Hurricanes versus the New Jersey Devils, and the Hurricanes pull out the win, 4-1 versus the Devils. So they lead the series 1-0 now.
Yeah, the Devils lose on Easter. Take that, pal.
Yeah. I love that. Hold on. I guess you don't need the sound, but he's just like sounding it. It's pretty cool.
Sounding the horn. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Like a little hurricane warning.
Yeah. So shout out Will Wade.
Oh, look at our guy.
Maybe he's good luck.
Look at him there.
Love that for him.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been, a long 5 years for Will. He's had to deal with a lot of different things and, had to go to McNeese and resurrect his career, which he certainly did. And now my man is sounding the siren at an NHL playoff game. So shout out to our guy, Will Wade. Tay?
Yes, my first weekend winner is going to actually be the NBA playoffs. First off, they were really good for the first weekend, the Saturday, Sunday games. But the Minnesota Timberwolves, look, the Lakers have been playing excellent since getting Luka Doncic. The Timberwolves have beat them by 20 points. It's 117-95. And Anthony Edwards only had 22. I mean, he had a fine game, but He wasn't even the leading scorer. Also, Naz Reid, really good at basketball, guys. 31 minutes, 23 points, 5 rebounds. Was the reigning sixth man of the year as far as last season goes, but really good win for the Timberwolves. I did not see that coming. They got game 1 on the road. Like, this is going to be a series.
You know, I hate to go against you, and you're right about that, like that game and the result, and it was surprising. A lot of people just assumed the Lakers were going to, go in there and roll. If I'm not mistaken, I'm going to call it a little bit of a weekend loser, and I watched all of it. NBA playoffs, I think there was only one game that was a single-digit game.
Yeah, it was the Nuggets game, went into overtime on Saturday.
And that was a great game. It was an incredible game, and the Nuggets win 112-110. Listen to these scores, though. Bucks-Pacers. Pacers win 117-98. Knicks-Pistons. Knicks win 123-112. T-Wolves-Lakers. T-Wolves win 117-95. So that's on Saturday. You go to Sunday. All right, so you've got the Celtics Magic. Celtics win 103-86. The Cavs Heat. Cavs win 121-100. Warriors Rockets. Golden State wins 95-85. OKC and Memphis 131-80. They won in the playoffs by 51 points. Only one game was decided by a single digit, and it was a great game. Nuggets Clips.
Great game.
But do we have too many playoff teams when we've got every game outside of one was decided by double digits?
Well, I don't even like the play-in.
Yeah,
I'm over the play-in.
I agree.
Only one time as the 10 seed actually made it to the playoffs. Like, I don't like the play-in. If you can't make the top 8 seed, which is already lopsided, as you pointed out, like, why the hell are we expanding it to 10? Like, there's only 30 teams in the NBA. You're telling me 20 of them get a shot to make it to the playoffs? That's way too many. I mean, they should cut that number in half.
Yeah. The play-in, I'm over the play-in. Like, it was, okay, let's see what this is all about. And certainly, the Pelicans have been in the play-in before, but it's like, I'm over it. I think the product is just bad. So weekend loser for me, NBA playoffs being competitive when only one game is within a single digit, and then you've got a game with professionals that is decided by 51 points. Yeah. Miss me with that one. Alondra?
Weekend winners got a few Tigers on the National Award watch list. So National Pitcher of the Year, Kate Anderson and Kason Evans are up for that. And Stephen Milam, who, shocker, like we said earlier in the season when people were questioning if he was going to be good at shortstop or not, he's just good at baseball. He is on the watch list for the Brooks Wallace Award, which honors the best shortstop in the country. So shout out to Kate Anderson, Kason Evans, and Stephen Milam. Stephen Milam, one of my favorite Tigers for sure.
That bomb he hit the other night, I mean, it was a few feet from clearing the entire stadium.
Yeah.
And a big moment, too, obviously.
So batting .306, 8 doubles, 2 triples, 8 home runs, 39 RBI in the season, and has scored 34 runs. So Stephen Milam, very productive at the plate and really good on the field as well.
I'm with you there. A couple of big home runs for the Tigers, but, that one, watching the game, that was as exciting as any of them. Always comes up clutch.
Yeah.
Always. The numbers aren't the most gaudy. Great numbers, but not the most gaudy on the team.
Yeah.
But when you need somebody at the plate, I don't think there's anybody else I would rather have than Monster.
Maybe Chris Stanfield.
Yeah. Guys, your 9-hole hitter's just been lights out for sure.
Weekend loser. I mentioned this a little bit on Thursday when it looked like it was going to happen, but since it's officially official, Nico Iamaleava is going to be a weekend loser for me. He is officially transferring to UCLA. He was getting $2.5 million per year at Tennessee. After an incredible 19 touchdowns in 2024, he decided he wanted $4 million per year. Tennessee told him to walk, rightfully so. And, we had talked about this before. I brought up, what are Nico's options as far as elite programs? Well, he went to UCLA, so he's in a worse program and a worse offense he was in a year ago, making $1.75 million. So he lost almost $1 million during this whole process. Also, Joey Aguilar from Appalachian State transferred over there in the spring. I get it. He's from Appy State, but he had 33 touchdown passes last year at Appy State. There is no guarantee that Nico's going to be the starting quarterback at UCLA. And after all of this, Nico comes out and says, or, his representatives, whoever is advising this guy says, well, it wasn't really about money. We just didn't like the Tennessee offense. Okay, few things wrong there. One, Josh Heupel's offense is known to be incredibly quarterback friendly. Mackenzie Milton was in the Heisman Trophy discussions in that Josh Heupel offense. Secondly, this is 100% about money because you hated the offense, but for $4 million a year, you would have loved the offense, and that's ultimately why you left. This is 100% about money. That's a lie. Why are you saying that? All these athletes come out every now and then. They just say something is a lie. I'm like, what are you gaining from that? I don't want to take a shot at the guy because he's great, but Travis Hunter the other day was asked, what would you do if a team told you could only play on one side of the ball? And he goes, I wouldn't play football. That's not true. It's not true. If the Cleveland Browns offered Travis Hunter $20 million a year to only play defense, he's walking away from it. That's not true. Why are you saying things like this? So Nico goes through all of this, lies about what the actual motive was because he lost $1.5 million at a school that doesn't have any fan support because it's all about USC, is in a worse conference, is in a worse offense with a head coach in Deshaun Foster, who we don't know how long he's going to be there.
Can't even hold a press conference.
Quarterback battle with Joey Aguilar. I mean, nothing about going to UCLA is better than what he had. Nothing.
Wait, so do we know he's getting $4 million at UCLA?
No, he's getting 1.75.
Oh my gosh! And then you're in California.
Yeah,
he lost him. Oh yeah,
you're gonna pay more than you actually earn in California.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he didn't have any of that tax in Tennessee.
No.
So now he's got a huge state income tax.
Yeah, look, I know I wasn't here, but I was on other shows talking about he thought he was going to have 8 or 9 teams ready to beat down his door for his services and give him $4 million. I even think that he thought, and him and his camp thought, that once 8 or 9 teams said we'd give you $4 million, it would turn into a bidding war. And then he opened the door because nobody was beating it down, and there was nobody there.
That's
And
crazy.
UCLA wasn't even really there.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Sure.
I guess, hey, we'll give you, hey, we got this left over. We'll give it to you. We think you're probably better
Not
than the
the
guy that we got.
leftovers. That's crazy.
Yeah, we'll give you that.
Oh, my
We'll give you
God.
the spare change. And then you mentioned, California's going to take theirs.
Yeah.
Trust me when I say that.
yeah.
13%.
I have given
state
them
income
a lot
tax.
of money. And then, the
not
tax
even
bracket
that,
that he's
just
going to be in,
the-
too, for federal.
Yeah.
Well, and then cost of living.
That's what I was gonna say. The cost of living is taxes. That's a lot of money, but
Cost
just
$3,000 a month to live in a shoebox out there.
right. You probably step outside and spend $1,000 just because you're stepping outside.
The damn Josh Heupel offense did him in, guys.
So, look, he outplayed his hand. Whoever was advising him, because
Terrible advice.
you're going from a playoff team in the SEC that, regardless of what you think about Tennessee, Neyland's going to be packed every single Saturday. It's a good environment. It's one of the better ones that I played in. And you were going to have an opportunity to potentially get back to the college football playoff. Now, this offense is built on running game. That's why the offensive player of the year in the SEC was the running back for Tennessee last year. But you still had multiple opportunities to thrive in that offense, right? We've seen multiple quarterbacks that played in that system in the NFL. And so you thought you were going to be able – and I would love to ask him, where did you think your landing spot was going to be?
Well, he put the no contact clause on him, which wild thing to do. And that's essentially I already know where I'm going. Don't contact me. But he didn't. Tulane told him no.
Yeah. UNC told him no.
Which
they
I'm
went
not
to they
surprised
got
by.
Gio
That was
Lopez
Belichick not
from
doing
South
that.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Wait.
It's the wildest thing. But there was a report that came out that him and honestly a couple other Tennessee players were considering sitting out the college football playoff game against Ohio State because they wanted more money. That's another problem all on its own. If you have multiple starters
Well, if
on
that
your
was
team,
true, yeah, for sure.
sitting out. But maybe he should have. You guys know that he had a 45% completion percentage in that college football playoff game. Heupel probably wishes he'd have sat out. He had 45% completion, and Ohio State won 42-17. Good job, Nico. Bang up job there, bud. Everybody's going to be like, you had 2 rushing touchdowns. You had 38 yards rushing. Come on now. No touchdown passes, 45% completion.
Yeah.
Let's give that guy $4 million a year.
So I was interviewing
JJ fired up.
Tyleek Williams from Ohio State last week about for the draft.
Yeah.
And EJ asked him about the situation with like with Nico. He's like, like what as a former player, like what he's like, I'll be honest with you, like when I saw that report, I was surprised. And I was like, oh, he's surprised. He goes, because he really wasn't that good. I was like, whoa. That's somebody that played against him in the playoff. Now it's a bad game for him, but I mean, he straight up that was his rebuttal. And so like Nico's gonna have to do a lot of work to get his name back where it was. Because, like, before all this, everybody's like, oh, Nico Imalava coming back. Like, that's going to be good for Tennessee. Man.
It's just a really bad look.
He's going to be playing in front of 15,000 people in the Rose Bowl, a team that's going to finish towards the bottom of the Big Ten. Look, I give them credit. I mean, they came here last year. They played hard. They actually had more success than I thought they would. But they're not a good team. I mean, they've got a lot of issues.
Aside from that, like the optics are just not great. Like if NFL scouts or whatever, like recruiters and stuff like that are looking at stuff like that, I don't know if the optics are great that you did all this and then you go and you take a pay cut actually because you couldn't find anybody else to pick you up. I don't know. It's just the whole situation's really insane.
I know, I'm with you. I mean, it's been surprising. Every twist and every turn's kind of been surprising. And like now we're is Tennessee going to add a quarterback? Because they've got a freshman, a redshirt freshman. I mean, Jaden Rashada's probably the top guy, but Tennessee can't go after him. They could, but he'd have to sit out, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Steve Angeli from Notre Dame, he's in the portal. I mean, the most that we know about him is he came in to the bowl game.
Let a touchdown drive.
I mean, against Penn State. And honestly, I was like, I don't think Riley Leonard was a great throw. I was like, no, that wasn't Riley Leonard. He's actually out. I'm like, oh, maybe that's why. That's about the best available because, again, Jaden Rashada ranked 206 overall. He's from the SEC. He'd have to sit out. Chandler Rogers from Cal ranked 319 overall. There's Brendan Sullivan, 545 overall from Iowa. There's nothing when it comes to quarterback. But Tennessee was like, you know what? We'd rather move on than pay him $4 million and still have him on the roster. So it says a lot, I think, about where that situation was. Any more winners or losers? All right, we will step away. We've got the voice of the LSU Tigers, Chris Blair, joining us in about 10 minutes from now. More OTB when we come back here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Off the bench.
All right, go to PelicanRoof.com, PelicanRoof.com. Now, we always tell you in Lafayette, in Baton Rouge, and not driving back and forth. They have offices in both locations. They are heavily in the community in both locations, right? And they've been there. And in Lafayette, you already know the Baton Rouge office, though, when you see those 5-star reviews coming in, I mean, in totality, over 500 5-star reviews for Pelican Roof. And you can check them out right there on the homepage. And not like them just saying that, actual reviews from real people, from real customers. They are right there on the homepage. You don't have to go searching for them, and that's the kind of work that you're going to get done. So you can go to their website, again, pelicanroof.com. You can actually put your address in, right? It's going to give you a great estimate of what a roof is going to cost you. A great tool right there on the homepage of the website. Go schedule everything today. Have them come out, pelicanroof.com.
Back to sports talk. Maybe. Off the bench.
If you haven't guessed already, today's theme for the music, one-hit wonders. All these players getting ready for the NFL draft, trying to not become one-hit wonders from their college days, trying to parlay that success into NFL success. Favorite one-hit wonder, Alondra. It's tough. It's a lot of bangers.
It's tough because I really like this one.
This is a good one.
Your Love by the Outfield's a really good one.
Really
Every
good
time that song comes on, I have to sing it. So I don't know. And What's Up, that's a really good one-hit wonder too. So it's so hard. Maybe What's Up. Tay-Tay.
Your Love by the Outfield is
It's a
my
great
obvious
one.
answer.
It's so good.
This is so cheesy, but I gotta go with Ice Ice Baby. Vanilla Ice. I mean, come on. That song.
Timeless, yeah.
That song is what, 35 years old?
Yeah.
And still plays?
Yeah. like a newer one, somebody that I used to know. That's a one-hit wonder. I don't know any other song that
sings
guy.
that?
I don't know how to say his name. It's like Gotye. Like
Godier?
yeah.
I think that's how you say it.
Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, probably. But that I don't know any
Blind
other
Melon,
song.
No Rain. It's a
I know
one-hit
like a
wonder.
couple other blind. But yeah, probably.
God. Crazy Town by Crazy Town knows the band. Butterfly's a song.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
that is a good one. I love this one though. Is Take My Breath Away by Berlin one? I don't know any other Berlin.
Ooh, I don't know any
songs.
other Berlin. We might be coming after somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know any
Oh.
other Berlin.
Sex and Candy.
Marcy's Playground. Yeah. It's up there. Pumped Up Kicks. Foster the People.
I know a lot of other Foster. the
Okay.
People songs.
Maybe I'm wrong there.
I don't know.
Define hit, though, I guess is the thing. Like, yeah, they put out other songs, but like,
Yeah, I guess so.
I would consider Strawberry Wine by Dina Carter a one-hit wonder. I would. Dina Carter had other songs.
You sound like somebody that loves that song.
I do. Great
It's a
song.
great song.
Great song. I would consider that a one-hit wonder. Dina Carter had a lot of other good songs, but like they weren't hits.
I think Foster People has hits.
Closing Time. Semisonic.
Yeah, I don't know any other Semisonic songs.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody in the chat said, "Who let the dogs out?"
Baja Men. Yeah.
That's the definition of a one-hit wonder.
Yeah. It's definitely in there. Macarena. I don't even know who sings that, but
Yeah.
that's a one-hit
one-hit
wonder for sure. All right. Just curious. Get
That's a
your
good
favorite
ones.
one-hit wonders inside the Bayou 4 chat there. Love a good one-hit wonder. Anybody seen That Thing You Do? The movie?
Yeah.
Sounds
Was that
familiar.
the Oneaters?
The Oneaters. Yes. Well done, Tay-Tay. All right, Tay-Tay, you mentioned off the top of the show that there was some worry that a player for LSU football was going to enter the transfer portal, and it has since been said that he will not enter the portal.
Yeah, Caleb Jackson, LSU running back. This was actually something that I mentioned as a possible portal casualty, but he said over the weekend, I think this was actually on Friday, that he was not entering the portal. He was going to stay. He was going to compete. Like, to me, this is kind of refreshing in the era of I didn't play right away. Things are going my way. I'm bailing. Like, Caleb Jackson wants to be here. Like, I just looked at it in terms of, okay, if by chance Harlem Berry passes him up in the spring, Caden Durham had already passed him up. He's a class lower. Then you have a freshman in Harlem Berry. That puts him at third, knowing JT Lindsey is going to enroll in the fall, like another really talented player. I just thought, like, okay, depending on how much run Harlem Berry is going to get in the spring, like, Caleb Jackson might see the writing on the wall, but, I mean, if you followed that spring scrimmage, Caden Durham didn't practice, just precautionary, like he, like tweaked an ankle or something. Like, it's not nothing major. Caleb Jackson got a lot of run in that game, and like that was my biggest takeaway because he was kind of the sole back with that first team offense. Like, I think that was big because I think there could be a role for him, but I appreciate the fact that he's staying here and competing because I thought, just looking at it, okay, if Barry passes him up, you got another talented guy coming in, all of a sudden you're fourth string. So I thought maybe there was a chance he's made the move, but he's sticking around.
Yeah, look, I am glad that he is sticking around. He's got work to do, though. I think if we're being honest with ourselves, he has to still grow as a running back. We have seen the flashes. We saw against Mississippi State, right, where he runs over the guy on the sideline, and it's it's an ah play. We've seen him, it was our guy Whit Weeks, right? And they put out the social media video in camp where he catches a swing pass and, runs through a linebacker. Like, all of that is great. I think the in between the tackles, feel for the run game has to continue to go up. And really this entire run game, I think, has to play at a different level. Like, Caden Durham was great as a true freshman, right? I mean, over 700 yards rushing, 5.4 per carry, had some home runs where he finished them, and he had some toe issues, some foot issues at the end of the season, wasn't able to finish some of those runs that we think he is going to be able to this year. Track guy, track speed. Caden Durham's your RB1, no question about it. But they need Caleb Jackson or one of the freshmen to step up. Caleb Jackson last year averaged 3.4 yards per carry. And there was a lot of times where it felt like, and look, this happens to a lot of young running backs, where he was getting the football, putting his head down, not reading the play, not allowing it to develop, hitting the line of scrimmage too fast, all of those situations. Your hope is that he has continued to develop, continue to grow, because they need that to go up. You no longer have the old savvy vet, Mr. Trustworthy Josh Williams. You don't have that anymore. That is not a luxury that you have. And you can argue with me all you want. I know there's plenty of people that have done it in the past in the chat. Josh Williams is a valuable football player because you knew exactly what you were getting as soon as you put him in the game. Was the ceiling as high as Caden Durham or Caleb Jackson? No, probably not. But the floor was incredibly high because you knew he was going to be consistent. Go back and watch. Any big play over the last couple of years, Josh Williams was in the backfield because they knew they could count on him. You don't have that this year. And we hadn't talked about it a lot. That's big. Like, I even a little surprised that maybe a veteran running back isn't coming in through the portal, and maybe it's because they, were able to keep Caleb Jackson out of the portal, and they're counting on him to be kind of an older presence, as this is now his third year. But they need that to go way up. They have got to get more production from a secondary running back now that Josh Williams is gone. Josh Williams had 117 carries a year ago. He was over 4 yards per carry. He was tied for the team lead with 6 rushing touchdowns. He also, he caught 31 passes a year ago. 31. Okay, Caden Durham caught 28. Caleb Jackson only caught 6. So it is great that he is coming back. Again, you hope that he developed. He's got all the physical traits as far as being, athletic and strong and fast and all these things. He looks the part. But they need the running IQ to go up a little bit there to be able to read the plays as they develop. And there's a reason why, your most athletic guy doesn't always go play running back, right? It is a feel position. You have to be able to feel it out. You have to be able to read it, not getting to the line of scrimmage as fast as you can. That doesn't happen. And a lot of times young running backs, and myself included, that's what we do because we're like, we don't want to be behind. We got to get there. You got to let the play develop. Certainly when you run as much outside zone and kind of different zone schemes as LSU is going to run, like gap scheme, not to get too deep into the weeds, gap scheme is going to hit a little bit quicker. Power, hit that A gap. Counter, hit that B gap, right? And after you have your shuffle steps on a counter, then you go downhill. LSU is going to use more, slow developing runs. Maybe they integrate themselves into a little bit more gap scheme. They certainly tried to a year ago, so that's something to pay attention to, but feels like a very important position, and they need Caleb Jackson to step up and be that veteran presence at the running back because you're talking about a true sophomore, 2 true freshmen. He is the oldest guy in the room, and you're trying to replicate the production that Josh Williams, who was a 6-year guy, gave you at that position. So good news for the Tigers, but still more work to be done at that position, trying to fill that void that Josh Williams leaves. All right, we will step away here, and when we come back, we are going to catch up with the voice of the LSU Tigers, Chris Blair, right here on OTB.
Off the bench.
All right, we are very excited to have Dos Equis on the team. Over the last couple of Fridays, we've certainly enjoyed some Dos Equis here in studio, but not the only time that we have enjoyed them. At the beach, let me tell you, there might not be a better place to enjoy a cold Dos Equis. At a ball game, at a restaurant. There's not a bad time. It hits everywhere that you go. Look, I'm sure our boy T-Bob has enjoyed some Dos Equis on his trip. Whenever he gets back, we'll ask him about how those Dos Equis were, but I'm sure that he has enjoyed them. The spring is here. As we always say, the bats are hot. The weather's heating up, and there is nothing better than sitting back and enjoying a cold Dos Equis. Look, toes in the sand, hard to beat. But even if you're grilling and chilling, there is no better way to enjoy it than pop open a cold Dos Equis. Proud to have them on the squad here on OTB.
Back from the break, where the sports talk gets real. Kinda. Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, welcome back in OTB 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Our pleasure to welcome on to the show the voice of your LSU Fighting Tigers, Chris Blair. CB, glad to have you on the show. Today's music theme, and I know you're a big music guy, is one-hit wonders. Do you have a favorite one-hit wonder?
Wow, favorite. Oh gosh. This is going to date me big time, but yeah, it's probably Video Killed the Radio Star.
There you go.
I think that may be the biggest one-hit wonder of the 80s.
Look, I mean, I definitely know the reference. I'm in my Mike Gundy year. I'm like only a couple of weeks away from 40, and so I'm with you, CB. I got you.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that. But yeah, there's a bunch of good ones out there.
All right. Well, let's talk a little LSU baseball. So I was out all of last week, and so fortunately, I didn't have to recap the sweep there on the Plains. But you get back home, you take 2 of 3 from Alabama. That series had some big moments, some moments where you had to come up clutch, and LSU was able to get those. Like even in the game on Saturday, they didn't stop fighting, and they had multiple opportunities there. It felt like they were even going to do something there in the 9th, but fought all series long. You're able to win 2 of 3 at home. I know you got swept, and I know you wanted to go for a sweep here, but still, CB, it did feel like LSU bounced back in a big way against Alabama.
No, there's no question about it. I mean, just offensively alone. I mean, I think, we talked about it. Everybody's talked about it. You look back at that Auburn series. I mean, it really wasn't a pitching issue as much as it was an offensive issue. I mean, just some numbers that you just hadn't seen. And while I still think runners in scoring position coming off this weekend, certainly that's not the number they want. They were able to get enough offense produced, even after trailing, in all 3 games, just unable to get enough or get over the hump there in the 3rd game of the series.
Now, something we talked about in length here on the show was in game number 3, you decided to go in a different direction at starting pitcher. And LSU has shown like Casey Evans and Zach Cowan, they are so valuable in the role that they have. And when they come in, it's kind of like, hey, we're closing the door on the game. Casey Evans even comes into the game with you trailing. It doesn't feel like they are going to move into that role to be the number 3 starter because Jay knows he can count on them. Do you expect, more movement, I guess, CB, there in game number 3? Like, is it a situation where maybe it becomes a Johnny Holstaff where you're like, hey, whatever arm's going the best going into that day?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything's solidified. I mean, I'll certainly say that. And, to be honest with you, I wasn't real sure that things were solidified, coming off the last couple of weeks, just because I think astutely put the way I think the situation is with both Cowan and Evans. I mean, do they have the ability? Absolutely. I mean, everybody could simply look at what they've been able to do, all season, certainly even against the SEC. So they would be the first people you would think you move up. But then you really have to start asking yourself, unless you get, 3 complete game performances, you're still going to have to find somebody out of the bullpen. And if you're taking Zach and Kaysen out at the moment, I think that's the fine line that this coaching staff is having to, go through, Jacob, by matchup to matchup each week that comes, the team they're playing, how they think they'll, certain arms do against certain hitters. So, but I think that's still going to be up for debate.
Well, also another part of it is if they kind of give you what they've been giving you all year long, which is you're kind of using 4 pitchers basically in the first 2 games. And then if you do have a situation, Chris, where on game number 3 on Sunday, if you have to go in your full bag, right, you got to go deep into the bullpen, well, you at least have the luxury because it's been consistent. You're going to have 2 guys on Friday night. You're going to have 2 guys pretty much on Saturday night, and then you'll have everybody else available.
No, I mean, that's certainly the path that you would love to be able to take. I just think right now I look back at the Auburn series and, I'm sure everybody felt the same way that, at least some of the guys you hadn't seen a lot of on the mound, especially in SEC play, really performed well. Gave the offense a chance really in all, but maybe that final game, a puncher's chance. And then I thought during the midweek, albeit not against SEC competition, that you also saw some good outings. So and I don't know what you take away from Game 3 on Saturday from this weekend, because outside of I think DJ Primo, it wasn't the best outing. So, are you at a point yet where I just think you're at a situation where, as Jay has said for many years, you've got to start to find, not just your rotation, Jacob, but you got to be able to find, all right, this is the starting crew. This is the early relief if need be. This is the middle relief, and this is a back end of our bullpen. And frankly, I think it's pretty obvious that they're still trying to find that.
Yeah, and a couple things in the lineup that look different. Game number 3, Daniel Dickinson actually led the game off and still kind of toying with moving a couple of different pieces in the 3 spot. I think, Barrett Jones moves back to the cleanup spot where a bulk of the year he's actually hit second in your lineup. It still feels like maybe trying to mix it up there at the top. And look, we know, Jay loves one thing. Like, he loves to move parts around. Like, he doesn't stay stagnant there. Do you think Daniel Dickinson leading off is something we could see maybe in the future as we get ready for the Tennessee series?
Yeah, I do, just simply because, when I think about consistency, obviously I think Derek Curiel, you can't argue with a kid that's, reached base at least once every game of his career in his freshman season. But I think those two could be interchangeable. I think they both have a knack for being able to get aboard. And I think Dickinson is really probably underrated offensively. Yeah. But most of that is because we were so thrilled that, he and Milam have been so solid, defensively for this team. And I think LSU is still trying to kind of find out what's the best scenario. And this is going to sound strange, Jacob, I know, but, last year it felt like there was nobody that really could protect Tommy White. And that was going to be your big bopper, and you needed to get him up to the plate virtually every second inning. And where I think this year, they're trying to find out who needs to protect who. You had kind of the emergence of Ethan Fry, and then suddenly you start to see him as the DH move, higher up the order. Next thing you know, he's kind of in there to protect Jared in the 3 spot. And then, again, you go through the weekend that was at Auburn, and then you kind of shuffle. And I think you saw that in the midweek, and you saw it in all 3 games. There were some slight tweaks. We still kind of saw the same platooning of the same players, but up there at the top of the order, you're exactly right. I don't think they're completely, solidified yet. And as you said, sometimes that won't even matter in Game 6 of your World Series visit.
Catching up with the voice of the LSU Tigers, Chris Blair, here on OTB. Big series, obviously, this weekend. You've seen the box at its peak. I've seen the box at its peak. It might rival that. Like, whatever the peak is, it might rival that this weekend. Tennessee, LSU fans, obviously they've seen their rise over the last couple of years. You've had a couple of battles with them. This is going to be one of those Friday, Saturday, Sunday series, certainly Friday night. It is going to be electric inside the box, and it's going to be hard to keep all that energy contained. And it's like, okay, whoever stays composed here, but it is going to be a lively series coming up this Friday.
Yeah, I think it's quickly becoming, from a national standpoint, Jacob, as college baseball continues to grow. I think over the last 3-4 seasons now, I think this LSU-Tennessee matchup from a college baseball perspective is becoming one of the biggest matchups. And, yes, I think everybody, including myself, when the schedule was released, immediately started skimming down, and your finger's going to stop right there at Tennessee at the box. So it's going to be interesting. This past weekend, you'd love to get the sweep, as you said. You do get the 4th series win in league play. So all is good. And, you get some separation from Georgia because Vanderbilt, I think, surprises everybody with Georgia kind of stumbling. Suddenly now Vanderbilt's right there nipping at your heels. You saw Kentucky take 2 out of 3 from a Tennessee team in Knoxville. So, again, both teams will have a midweek game. Then both teams will show up, be ready to go on Friday. But it's interesting because I think every weekend, whoever you think, outside of maybe Texas, that's well on their way, suddenly they take a tough weekend, and now you got to look at what the motivation is. Do I think Tennessee will be motivated? Of course. It's LSU. They know what they're coming into. And also they're coming off a series loss to a team that I'm sure they felt like they should have swept.
Cannot wait for the series. Unfortunately, as you know, I'm going to be in Green Bay, Wisconsin, covering the draft. Like, I certainly would want to be inside the box this weekend. Happy to cover the draft, but man, this is a series, like you said. As soon as the schedule comes out, you're trying to find out where Tennessee is. But I will be ear hustling the call there. CB and Dougie, the best to do it. So looking forward to the call. CB, always appreciate your time. Thanks for hopping on with us.
Man, I tell you what, it's good to have those first world problems, huh? I tell you. Yeah, man.
Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it.
Have a great week.
All right, you as well. There he is, Chris Blair, the voice of the LSU Tigers. Look, I will. I mean, on Friday night, I promise you, I will have some way of listening during the breaks to the call. Looking forward to that series. I just knew, like, as soon as the schedule came out, I'm like, that's NFL draft time, isn't it? Because I would be at all three games. I'm assuming that, Alondra, you're going to find a way to be in the box.
I'm going to find a way to be there Saturday and Sunday for sure.
What you got Friday?
Cody Johnson.
So Cody Johnson over the Tigers,
Kojo.
huh? If it was Texas, you wouldn't go. If it was the other UT.
That's not true.
That's not true at all. You're right.
I love Kojo.
All right, we will step away, wrap up hour number 2 of OTB when we jump back here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Off the bench.
All right, go to centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org. 24/7, 365, game day, weekend, holiday, does not matter. 24/7 emergency services at 225-925-8552. Not only in Central, though, right? Certainly in Central, centralplumbing.org, but not only in Central. Greater Baton Rouge area, we are talking to you. If you've got an emergency, it does not matter when that emergency happens. They are there. They are ready to help you. But also not only in emergencies. If you're looking to remodel, if you're looking to remodel at your home, at your business, big, small, does not matter, everywhere in between, they can come. They can help you out. Also ask them about going tankless with the tankless water heater. Never run out of hot water. So you get home late, you got a shower, you got laundry, you got dishes. That is okay because you are not going to run out with that tankless water heater from Central Plumbing, centralplumbing.org.
Welcome in to the best morning sports-ish show around. Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
I did forget about this. Wonder. Welcome back in. OTB here on a Monday morning. Just got up with the voice of the LSU Tigers, Chris Blair, starting to preview the Tennessee baseball series coming up this weekend. And again, I've been in that stadium. Y'all have been in that stadium. Our listeners have been in that stadium when it's been absolutely electric. I mean, more times than not, it is. But I still think, like, whatever your peak experience is for regular season baseball, right? Now, a regional, a super regional, that's a little bit different. But regular season baseball, I have to imagine this is going to match that. I mean, LSU fans don't like Tennessee. Tennessee fans don't like LSU. You're kind of fighting back and forth. Tennessee's kind of the new kid on the block. You've certainly been there, done that before. You just won a national championship as well. Last couple of national championship winners. I am expecting it to be at its absolute peak.
I think the most that I've experienced it at its peak is like you said, postseason baseball. Yeah. So super regionals, it's electric in there. So I think that it'll match that, if not be more, because this is like it has potential to be a great rivalry if it's not already, because like you said, LSU baseball has like the history, right? They have the history of being a great baseball program, and they're still that today. Yeah. Tennessee baseball is starting to solidify themselves a little bit because since Tony Vitello took over, they have been a really good program. So I'm excited for this series. I think the box is going to be rocking. I can't think of like a regular season game at the box that I've been to that will have as much hype as this one.
Tay-Tay?
Did you play Arkansas? Was it when Skeens and Hagen Smith were against each other? Was that in Fayetteville or was that here?
I feel like I remember being in Fayetteville.
I think it was Fayetteville. That's the only single game I can think of as far as series go. No, I mean, defending national champions, everyone's favorite baseball coach, Tony Vitello, comes back in. Like, LSU baseball, like, you're not rivals with Tennessee.
That was in the box.
Like, you kind of was. Oh,
it was?
That would be the game. That would be the only one. But not even the whole series. Like, that game, Paula Skeens versus Hagen Smith might be the only thing I can think of where it's like, this almost feels like a professional baseball game.
Yeah. Yeah, because Hagen, okay, I'm looking at the box score now. So Hagen Smith came in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he didn't start the game, but he came in 4 2/3 innings, gives up 3 earned runs, strikes out 8. Paul Skeens goes 7, only gives up 2 hits, 1 earned run, strikes out 12. But you lost the game 9-3 in 10 innings.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to do. But so Skeens gives you what I just laid out there. Chase Shores actually comes into the game, pitches 2 innings, gives up 1 hit, 1 earned, strikes out 3. Christian Little got touched up, only goes a third of an inning, gives up 4 earned runs. Will Helmers comes in. He gives up 3 earned runs and 2/3, and you lose that game. That's tough to do.
I
but then you came back.
That.
Remember, you run ruled them 12-2, and then you win again. So nice series there. Going to be a big series here against Tennessee. More OTB coming your way, hour number 3.
Off the bench